Let's talk about the duels at Daytona. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Racing Pulse. I'm your host, Tyler Isley, and today it's strictly Daytona duels, and that's the conversation today. That's it. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. This may be a very brief, quick video. I don't want to take too much time on it. I don't want to dissect everything. I just want to go through it, give you guys the starting lineup, and that'll be it today. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start with duel number one, where Tyler Reddick's able to be the one to get the win. It was a really strong showing from Tyler Reddick. I was super impressed with that team as a whole, being able to get to the front. They qualified 36th. They're now going to start on row number 2 and 3rd. You got some help from Chase Elliott at the end there, getting himself to the win. Chase Elliott will come home second. We'll discuss the starting lineup. Jimmie Johnson is the open car who races his way in. JJ Yaley is going to miss the show. Kind of tough for NY Racing. He was in position to, I think, get in last night. Now, the way that these worked, I don't know what changed from just head-to-head racing in the duels, but I think I heard that JJ Yaley had to beat both Jimmie Johnson and David Reagan in that race. I don't know if that's for sure what the deal was. Honestly, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but or maybe it wasn't, not David Reagan, I'm sorry, Anthony Alfredo and Jimmie Johnson in that one. Instead, he didn't beat either of them. Jimmie Johnson gets in. But yeah, I was hearing and listening, and it sounded like they were saying that JJ Yaley had to beat both of them. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. There was a small crash in this race between Daniel Hemrick and Jimmie Johnson. And, well, Daniel Hemrick, Jimmie Johnson, Austin Dillon, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. were all involved. Now, it was not the biggest wreck of the night, but it did involve Daniel Hemrick having to go to a backup car for the 500, so he'll be starting from the rear of the field. Jimmie Johnson was able to recover from his spin and get himself in the race, as I just mentioned. Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., just a couple of spins, but a pretty solid incident. You'd think it would tone down, and it did. It definitely toned down a little bit. They got to the end. Just a really solid, a really patient duel one, which when we see a patient duel one, we normally see a crazy duel two. And that's exactly what we got. Now, skip to the end. Christopher Bell wins if you didn't watch. Spoiler alert. But the bigger story, I think, was the big one that we had in duel number 2. Now, it's been a while since we've seen just a huge crash like this, where we've seen 10 plus cars involved in a dual race incident. But we did get one. We got a big one early, and involves Ryan Blaney, and it seems like he's got a knack for getting some of the hardest hits at Daytona that we see on a yearly basis. Last year had arguably the scarier wreck, in my opinion, between him and Ryan Preece at Daytona last year. Now, last year had 2 of the worst we've seen in a while, for either flips or just hard hits into the wall. But then we get Ryan Blaney head on into the wall again, this time in the tri-oval off the bumper of William Byron. He called out the field for crappy pushes, for lack of a better term. Keep this PG if we can. He's very adamant. He said he's getting sick and tired of being turned head on into the wall, or right hooked into the wall. And honestly, who could blame him? I mean, everybody's gonna, I was reading comments last night, and it baffles me that somebody being upset about being turned it into the wall head on at 190 mile an hour, 185 mile an hour, however hard he hit that wall. He didn't scrub a lot of speed between getting turned and hitting the wall. And all the comments calling this dude a crybaby and everything else, like, you get in a car, you take that hit twice in a 6-month time span, and tell me that you're okay with it. Tell me that you're going to be cool with that. I don't think you're going to. I'm just saying, I don't think you're going to. Now, he said crappy pushes. I think he was blaming Kyle Busch. But you can also look back at Brad Keselowski, who shoved Kyle Busch into William Byron. Now, I agree with some of the things I was told last night. I was in a group call last night watching these races as a spotter problem. I agree. I've never been a spotter other than on iRacing. It's not the same. I know that. But it's a very fast-paced. Things happen really quick, and sometimes you just cannot control what happens and how that goes. It just, to me, it looked like Brad Keselowski didn't learn from 2021, where he was kind of the cause with just poorly timed pushing of wrecks. Now, it's not all his fault. There's a lot of things that went into it. Blaney tried to move up in line, and if he would have moved up and stayed up, I think it would have been fine. But he moved up, moved back down. Byron moved up with Blaney and didn't come back down. And I feel like there was a miscommunication on whether Byron was going to stay up or go down. Again, it's all happening so fast. There's a car length difference. It closes fast. They hit each other. Wreck happens. BJ McLeod was hit a handful of times. Was still in contention to transfer. It didn't happen. Kaz Grala is going to be the car that gets in. So BJ McLeod and JJ Yaley are the two that miss. Jimmy Johnson, Kaz Grala, Anthony Alfredo, and David Reagan are the guys who make the show in the Daytona 500 this year. With all that said, the dual races were good. I think it's a really good teaser for the Daytona 500 this year. I think it's going to be a really good race. Every car looks really good. Every car seems to be able to push really well, too. So it's going to make this fun. Still intrigued. I don't think the third lane's going to work. It didn't seem to work at all last night from the couple people that tried it. But you get 40 cars out there, the third lane may work. I'm still going to say no. I think it's still going to be a two-lane track, and you're going to have to kind of fight for your position and use those poor blocks and poor pushing to make up track position. I think it's just the nature of the car, unfortunately, and until there's a way to get that third lane to work, it may just be stuck the way it is. But I could be wrong. We could get into Sunday and it be completely different, and this car is all of a sudden really good at that third lane and getting the run up there. So who knows? But right now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to pull up the Daytona 500 starting lineup for you guys. All right, so here is your Daytona 500 starting lineup, and it all begins with Joey Logano and Michael McDowell. They are on the front row for the 500, followed by Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell, two Toyotas. Chase Elliott is the top Chevy in the field starting this race. He's got Alex Bowman behind him, and then Carson Hocevar, really impressive in the 9th position. Him and John Hunter Nemechek both really solid performances. Eric Jones and Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton looked like he was going to win the duel for a minute, and then he got taken extremely low by Austin Cindric. I don't really think I ever expect Austin Cindric to be a good teammate, but we definitely didn't see it last night. You got to go for your positions. I totally get that, but him and Harrison Burton are teammates. This is a guy you expect to help you, when push comes to shove, and once again, you're not really giving him the respect. Which he's done with other teammates too. It's not just been him. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out in the race. Zane Smith was impressive. He was just clean all race. Was up towards the front in his duel. Ended up in 14th. You see Ty Gibbs, Brad Keselowski up there. Other notables, obviously Ryan Blaney's going to go to the back with a backup car. Daniel Hemrick's going to go to the back with a backup car. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be a fun race. We're going to be seeing a lot of action, I think. I'm super excited to see how this turns out. Like I said, it could be a really good race or a really bad race. We don't know yet, obviously, because we haven't seen it. Super excited. Truck Series starts tonight. We're going to be recapping all of Daytona basically on Sunday after the Daytona 500. I'm going to come on here and record. You'll see it Monday. So I will be back Monday. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. A lot of people, over 90% of people watching this video right now are not subscribed. Please hit the subscribe button. It's free. It helps me out. Helps you see more of my content, especially if you enjoyed what you're watching. Leave comments down below. Let me know your predictions for Daytona this weekend. What do you think of the dual races last night? Do you think we might get 3-lane racing at Daytona for once? Who knows? All to be determined over the course of the weekend. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I will see you guys next time.